Well, welcome back to Colli Talks, transformative conversations. Oh my goodness, today we're diving into a topic that is so often left in the shadows, even in 2025. Hard to believe, but it is. And we're talking about sex, intimacy, and menopause. And these are conversations, that carry layers of taboo, shame, silence, yet they hold the power to transform how we see ourselves and how we connect with others in midlife and beyond. I'm honored to be joined again with Dr. Irmgard Rauscher, a wise and compassionate voice in this space. She's been with us before, and there have been requests to have her back again. So here she is. So today, we're going to explore why the early messages we received about sexuality can still echo throughout our lives, how unresolved wounds from teens or young adulthood can resurface in perimenopause, and the biggest myths about libido and aging that are begging to be debunked. We all, we're going to all open up here about the deeper dimensions of intimacy that they go far beyond sex. Intimacy with self, with body, and with truth. Irmgard brings a perspective of menopause not as an ending, but as a liberation, a chance to reclaim sexual agency, embrace self-pleasure without shame, and speak openly about our evolving needs without fear of rejection. This conversation is about breaking silence, reclaiming power, and offering midlife women a vision of sexual wellness and body confidence that can ripple out to inspire younger generations. So much needed. So let's begin. Here we go. Welcome, 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 Dr. Rauscher, Irmgard. So lovely to see you and be with you again. I am so excited to have you on again today. How are you? You're doing well?
Yes, thank you,
Oh,
dear
good.
Colli, and it's wonderful to be back with you, to sit there and have this conversation. And yeah, thank you for having me here
Oh,
again.
absolutely. Huh, there's just so much going on in our world. And, with so much going on, there's, especially now with AI and people getting involved in, in just this fake world. I was wondering, why do you think conversations, especially now in 2025, around sex and intimacy and menopause are still so taboo?
This is an old topic.
Mm.
We have to go back to thousands of years of patriarchy. Our ancestors were disempowered, oppressed, and persecuted, and also murdered. So we were robbed of our goddess because a male god was much more favorable for the ruling elite.
Mm.
So in his name, women could be kept down and dominated. And the Catholic God himself doesn't want women in his churches. He doesn't want his priests to be seduced by evil women. I mean, this is still going on. And this also implies that female values, characteristics, and activities were smiled at and negatively judged. So, but the point is, unfortunately, women have now internalized this criticism.
Mm.
So, in this way, judgment and shame and guilt and taboo have been passed on from one generation to the next. And no woman asks herself what is really going on, why she is constantly dissatisfied with herself, with her look, with her body, with her weight, with her sexuality, and so on, why she is never good enough.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, it's the
everything.
good old religion.
So, but these are in our body cells, and this is unfortunately it is our truth. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
because we have forgotten the early truth, yeah, in which we all had a mother goddess,
Right.
which really was loving, and we women had a idol, and we can identify with her.
Well, we
So
certainly, have there is that saying, it used to be, I think it was a packaging marketing for cigarettes, you've come a long way, baby, right? And, Virginia Slims with these beautiful women holding cigarettes and smoking, but I think of it now and I go, have we really come a long way? Obviously we haven't.
no,
No.
not really.
We haven't. It's 225. I'm 70, you're 70, and all the years of the time that I have been on planet Earth, I don't see much change.
No,
In some
I
ways, I
mean,
see we're going backwards.
really, we had a little freedom and a little rebellion or a little revolution in the 68,
Mhm,
yes,
mhm.
but it is gone. I mean, the young women, what they want to do, they want to have a wonderful, wealthy husband to be safe.
Right.
Yeah,
To be safe and also to be able to buy things that they want with regards to the improvement, so they perceive it to be, of their body. So they can cut and slice and inject and do whatever they want to do in order to chase after youth, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
But and everything we experience and learn as children and young people shapes us immensely, even if we don't know it. Not only verbal information, but also behavior and reaction have a deep impact on us.
right,
And if we don't question these imprints, they stay and remain active and true in us for the rest of our lives.
right. And that is, the next thing I was gonna say is how does shame and early messages about sexuality in puberty follow us into midlife?
Yes, through these through these fake truths, yeah, we carry in our body cells.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
this is and if we don't question this, if we don't criticize it, so that will remain with us. That will stay with us.
Do you do you ever come across women in all the work that you do with women? Do you ever come across women who actually question?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
they do.
okay.
I think I think every woman who shows up in a yoni constellation workshop or want to do an online session, so they started to think.
Mhm,
They started to think there has to be some more, yeah, some more between some more in a woman's life as it is.
mhm.
So,
It's
um,
interesting about the some more. I was thinking, how many women might actually start to question it, but then they actually go in a different direction, and when they think about, questioning things, that's when they, veer off into a false sense of improvement, right? Rather than the depth of improvement, going into the depth of where these shame, etc., started. So they cover it up with doing things to their body because the questioning isn't answered. So they think the things they're doing to their body is the answer.
mm, yeah, unfortunately, but these women who comes to a workshop, they don't they don't think like this.
No,
So
exactly. No, they
they
they go
they
deep.
they want to find the answer somewhere,
Right.
somewhere. Also in books, for for instance.
Mhm.
And,
Mhm.
and they talk to their girlfriends, and they talk to their friends, and so someone always had a good advice.
Right, exactly, and can direct them to, to you, which is amazing because when and I can say, from having studied with you as well as done private sessions with you, there's nothing like that to be able to be in touch with and understand. It just, there's nothing like it. There just isn't.
Yeah, because it's always a safe space. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's was what I was gonna ask you next was, can the unresolved wounds, from our teen, or young adulthood resurface during, perimenopause or menopause, and those can they resurface?
Yes. Yeah. Mhm. Unresolved negative stress, injuries, and trauma, such as sexual abuse in childhood or emotional abuse in adolescence, or painful, insensitive first sexual encounter,
Mm,
sexual experiences in which a woman went beyond her limits in order to keep the man, for example.
right.
This you face during the perimenopause and menopause. And this is because the hormonal changes bring the body and the mind to a biological conclusion with the first half of life.
Oh,
And
okay.
the mind and psyche take balance of what was successful and what was not.
Mm,
And this is because old wounds resurface during this time.
interesting, very interesting. If a woman has had, traumatic experience with, her first encounter, in a sexual relationship with someone. And if it wasn't good and there was trauma, so in perimenopause and menopause that resurfaces. Now, is that is this a possibility why some women absolutely do not want anything to do with sex at that time?
Yeah, yeah, unfortunately. Mhm.
Mhm.
Uh, because they made bad experiences, and so they thought, "No, I stop with the whole thing." Yeah.
Right.
Because I have my children, because I have my marriage. Yes, so they don't wanna deal with it anymore.
Right, exactly. So henceforth.
Yeah, that's just such a pity.
Yeah, absolutely. Because at that moment when they don't want to, not just the sexual part, but because they give up a lot. And I know because I've talked to women, they just give up. They gain,
Yeah.
they don't exercise, they don't eat properly, they might become addicted to something. I mean, yeah, it is sad actually. They give up on themselves.
Yeah, this is really sad.
It
Mhm.
is, yeah. So, what are the biggest myths about libido and aging that you'd like to sort of bust open?
The greatest legends say that sexual desire and sexual fulfillment are reduced or no longer present with age. So the opposite is true. We are capable of orgasm until the end of our lives. And this is the truth. And sexuality can be more fulfilling and satisfying in old age than in youth, because we are much more present,
Mm.
more reconciled with our appearance, more relaxed and more experienced in our bodies than before. So, in addition, our pleasure organ, the clitoris, is the only organ that can still grow in old age. So,
Oh my
I think
goodness.
are fantastic prospects for the future.
That's amazing. Wow. That is incredible. It is amazing and incredible because a lot of women obviously think that that's it, right? Done, finished.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Wow. That is
But
huge.
but Connie, it is also the point that the yoni and the vagina, the vulva, they want to be in good conditions. Also, they need so regular sexuality
Mhm.
because of mucosa. The mucosa, they otherwise they so this is it's a loss of mucosa and liquids.
Mhm. And
So the
creativity.
yoni needs the yoni needs sexuality.
Wow. And that's
Mhm.
that's our center of creativity.
Yes.
So if a woman gives up on that, experiencing that, then she possibly could lose her creative spark as well.
Yes, as well. And also, uh, life is not so, how can I put this? Life is not so colorful anymore because
Mhm.
something is missed. Yeah, something really deep and important is missed.
Right. Yes, that makes complete sense when I think in terms of, people that I have talked to and how they some of them have done just that, given up, and even the way they dress,
Yeah.
right.
Mhm. Mhm.
It lacks in vibrancy, it lacks in beauty because they've given up. So it's almost like, well, like you say, I've had my kids, you know, life moves on, yada yada. But it's interesting. I'm the reverse. I'm thinking I've had my child, so now I don't have to be concerned about getting pregnant. And so there's more room for exploration and more engagement with my body as opposed to being fearful. No, there's no fear of being pregnant. Not that I was ever afraid of being pregnant, but the fact is, once you go through menopause and you can't conceive, well, it's more of a it for me it was more of a relaxing effect.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
are, I think, for me, these are golden years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. So, many people equate intimacy, right, with sex, but what deeper forms of intimacy do we often overlook?
Mm. Many many women do not know what it needs for real deep intimacy, because deeper forms of intimacy are based on a stable self-awareness, self-respect, and dignity. And if a woman always thinks, how do I look, huh? Do I really, am I enough, yeah? Do I really have a nice body? And so this also, this disturbs intimacy.
Mhm.
In sexuality, women and men need these qualities, self-awareness, self-respect, and dignity, in order to be fully present,
Yeah.
to reveal their innermost being to their lover, and at the same time maintain their own boundaries.
Mm.
Looking into each other's eyes means open up and recognize each other, and recognize the inner core, the soul,
Mhm.
whose is blissful and has a divine dimension. Love flows, the lovers feel safe, connected, and understood, and desire arises from this sweet point.
Okay.
Mhm.
Lovely. And I
Mhm.
wonder, yeah, I mean, with what you say about, self-respect and feeling safe in your own body and feeling you are enough, if you don't bring that to the table, then basically, maybe this is why I'm thinking out loud here right now. Maybe this is why there is such a surge in pornography
Yes. Mhm. Yeah.
because
Yes.
they don't feel good enough. And so it's like when you're looking at someone else, you don't have to be you.
Mhm.
You can be
Yes.
the person you're observing, right? Or watching. And so it's so crucial to feel safe. That's the big thing, right?
Yes.
To feel safe.
really.
Yeah.
And then you can allow really intimacy. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. You've spoken, Irmgard, about menopause being a time, right, of liberation. So how can this stage become a new chapter in sexual exploration? Because I know many of our listeners are at that age, where they are either perimenopause or menopausal or even post, right? So how can this how can this be, a new opening for them, like a new chapter in sexual exploration? Because
Mm.
women want to know this.
Yeah. So a woman in midlife who takes balance and analyzes her sexuality may realize that she has lived a rather masculine sexuality so far.
Oh.
And now her body and her yoni show dissatisfaction or discomfort with it. And if she honest and if she takes herself seriously with this topic, she will now explore what she likes, what her yoni wants and needs. And yeah, and yes, also, in addition, personal, transgenerational, or collective trauma can be stored in the yoni, which obstruct and inhibited the yoni in its expression and creativity. This is also a fact. And but therefore she can do a yoni constellation to find out what she can heal in her womanhood. And also I have it needs a lot of, yes, like a little, it needs knowledge about the things. Yeah.
Mm.
I also have an article on my blog in English, and there all can read about the anatomically 9 different yoni types and their preferences and desires.
Oh,
Bec-
wow.
because every yoni is different. Yeah. There are main types, 9 different main types. And so a woman can find out which type her yoni is. And it is all written down what these kind of yoni likes and what not. Yeah. And what positions are good and which not. So
Mhm, mhm. So there is a
it's
way to do
important
some.
to
Yeah, there's
learn.
yeah, absolutely exploration, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. With regards to the constellations, yoni constellations and the, trauma, intergeneration, like the generational trauma. Can you can you give an example of maybe having worked with someone without names, of course, but of an experience that you've experienced as a facilitator and practitioner of this, what for our audience to understand what maybe someone else went through so they could get a clearer picture of that.
Mm. Like a transgenerational trauma
Mhm.
is for example, when a great grandmother died in childhood, in the giving birth to a baby.
Mm.
And this is so a tragedy. And it is also combined with sexuality. So this is so much fear then in the system that it could be that a great granddaughter just give up. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because of fear of sexuality. And and but the real cause is this trauma from the great grandmother.
It's fascinating to me because I've been through, I've had sessions with you and also, like I say, studied with you, and it's fascinating. It really is. It you would never think this could be, but it is. And when
Yes.
when it is revealed, it's so liberating because you go, "Oh, okay, that wasn't even about me, but that was something else going on in my body that I didn't even know I was carrying, and now I'm liberated from it, and I can take the resources and, carry on."
Yes. And often are these great grandmothers, they are at the edge because the tragedy was so great that no one's talk about it later.
Mm, of course, right? Silence.
Yeah.
Silence,
Silence,
silence.
silence and secret.
Yeah, secrets, exactly. That's what I was gonna ask you about with regards to, how can women reclaim their sexual agency after years or decades of self-silencing?
So women should take themselves and their needs seriously and make them their own affairs and business. During the menopause, women have the opportunity to take care of themselves for the first time.
Mhm.
So before, they were daughters, they were teenagers, they were young adults, they were lovers and mothers. Now, in midlife, the children are grown up and out of the house, and there is a certain vacuum that women can use very well by getting to know themselves better.
Right.
And if it may overcoming and courage to tell the partner that this and that no longer works so well and that something else is wanted and needed. So, but the chance to the chance to tell the truth is to keep the relationship alive and vibrant, and also to invite the partner to talk about him and his reality. And
Right.
all of this, all of these kind of conversations increases intimacy and boosts the partnership immensely because truth is erotic.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's that truth that like you is, you know, I'm thinking in terms of even, looking into the other person's eyes and looking in, the depth of the soul, right? And that is very erotic. It's and when you're doing that and speaking your truth, it's a double whammy. It's like a double hit of absolute, beautiful
Yes, because
eroticism.
you show yourself
Mhm.
like you really are.
Mhm.
This is a power, and this is wonderful, and this truth is also erotic.
Oh, yes, it is. It's very powerful, and it's that yeah, because, instead of running away from, and then the men when the woman gives up and then, runs away from it, and the man runs toward a younger woman, right? Because
Yes.
he doesn't understand, or he doesn't even probably feel that there is, probably feels it's an end point as well. And so what's the use for him, right? Whereas if they open up together and share and stop the bleed of, the secrets and the silence, then they can come together on a whole different level.
Yeah. And they learn about more about themselves
Mhm.
as a c
Mhm. Mhm. So what role does, self-pleasure and solo exploration play in sexual wellness at any age?
of course, a big role. But sex with yourself is important and beautiful at any age and should not be discouraged.
Mhm.
Sexual love means self-determination, serves self-empowerment and self-confidence. And I have a advice,
Okay.
organize it as a celebration to which you invite yourself
Oh.
and take your time. Prepare a nice, warm, and safe place. Play your favorite music, maybe, light a candle, put on some sexy lingerie, have a drink, a snack, or something you like, and then you are ready to go. So you can be loud at your party,
Mhm.
surf the pleasure wave, build up lots of sexual energy, and then let it go. So completely uninhibited. Ah, and also, or you can be quiet, silent, deeply connected to your essence, and everything is fine and wonderful. And
Mhm.
this is, yeah. This is just great.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. It's that.
And indeed, it is a rendezvous with yourself.
Mhm. And who better to, be able to understand yourself but yourself and what you need. So, and what you want,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful, and I love what you say. It's
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
celebration. Because in life, I don't think we celebrate enough, especially ourself, right? Except, okay, so at the birthday party, but big whoop. So, oh my goodness, I love it. So, how can women approach, conversations about changing sexual needs without embarrassment or, fear of rejection? How can they approach conversations about that?
Women may finally understand that shame and guilt do not belong to them. Never. Old, nasty, and jealous churchmen have demonized the feminine out of fear of female power.
Oh, yeah.
How can a woman feel ashamed or guilty when she knows and has experienced that she carries the sacred place, her yoni, within her?
Mhm.
And this is where the greatest miracle takes place, yeah? Giving birth to a child.
Oh, absolutely.
And sexuality is a poetic, spiritual, creative energy that is sacred and given us by our great goddess, and we should enjoy it. Every every little thing of it. And no matter what any religion might say. So this is really cold coffee, like we say in Germany.
Mm, I love it. Yeah, it's well, that's just the whole thing is to just be open and talk to, you know, other women and really discuss as well as to, their partner about the changing needs, right? Without being embarrassed or fear rejection. Because I mean, if you're with a group of women and you talk about this and they shun you, well, they're not the right group of women to be talking about this with anyway. And move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's yeah, it's and it it's unfortunate it doesn't get started at a younger age for a lot of girls where their mothers can talk about this because they themselves have been, shamed or shunned or rejected because of curiosity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really, unfortunate, right? It's unfortunate that it doesn't get talked about more frequently. And because, like you say, the yoni is the center of creativity and power. And of course, men, you know, not all men, but I'm just saying, the men of the church, etc. Knowing this, it could be not knowing the art of war with that kind of a situation, because they feel that if to suppress it, shut it down, rather than to allow for it to blossom because of whatever fear they have with regards to women overtaking, which is to me is just ridiculous. But it is what it is, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
And but we women, we have to wake up. Yeah,
Hmm.
really uh, we have to really look through all these old and really evil, yeah,
Exactly.
these demonizing. I think this is the word of the female. This is it. It was out of the fear of female power
Hmm.
because women are the daughters of the goddess, not more and not less. Yeah,
Right.
and and if a woman has its own power, so she is not. Yeah, she can. She is free.
Hmm. And
She's
that. in itself is key for them to want to have the control over the woman. They don't want us to be free.
No, not at all. They
Hmm.
want to keep us down. Yeah.
Which,
And
oh, yeah,
uh,
it just is amazing when I think of it with the freedom, because especially because of the yoni constellation work you do, you know, getting in touch with the yoni and clearing any of the trauma that might be there for women, and reducing the shame and all the fear around being powerful. I mean, that in itself is freedom and opens up the yoni.
yeah, that's
Absolutely. Like, it just opens it up and softens it and makes it more sensuous and makes it more creative and all that, because if it's closed down and it's in, slam dunk closed down, there's no freedom of expression.
yeah. And we have the choice, do we believe in these old Catholic teachings, or do we believe our own truth?
Mhm. Mhm. And that's the key, is to get to
That's the
our truth, right? To
key.
get to our truth. So,
Mhm.
wow, I was gonna ask you how midlife, how can midlife for women, be role models of sexual wellness and body confidence for the upcoming generation? I'm thinking in terms of, like, my granddaughter.
Mm. So women who are in contact with the yoni,
Mhm.
who have discovered and lived their own sexuality, for instance, who are authentic, who enjoy their lives, they are characterized by strength, self confidence, self esteem, and vitality. And such women always are attractive, they shine, and they are irresistible to women and men. And younger women instinctively know that they can learn from these women.
Oh,
They will
wow.
gladly seek their advice, learn, and ask questions. They take them as inspiring role models. But also, we need to have patience.
Mhm.
Till the younger women are at the point where they want to know and ask.
Okay.
And because everyone is on her own path and her own pace,
Mhm.
and we can only be prepared. Yeah.
Right, right. I
Yeah.
think, you know, I think back to my own experience as a teenager, and, my mom passed away when I was just starting into, having my period, and, my breasts increasing and all that, and it was a very really confusing time for me because I didn't have that role model, or, to talk with. And yeah, it would be lovely in a perfect world for women that also experience that, to open up and be able to talk to. I wasn't able to talk really to anyone, so I really had to find my own way through it. But yeah, you're right, with regards to allowing for when, when the young sweet person is ready to talk, right? And
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
and to just to listen.
Yeah. In my neighborhood are all these friends with girlfriends. So when they have young young daughters,
Mhm.
yeah, and so they wanted to do something for the daughters. So and they started to celebrate the first menstruation,
Right?
for example. But some of the daughters uh, were so ashamed. Yeah, they couldn't really they could do nothing with it, so they didn't like it. And so it was kind of too much, yeah,
Mhm.
in this age. They have to they have to with their own body, they have to, yeah, they have to learn, they have to be a little bit more safe feeling safe with their own body, and that needs time. Yeah.
Right.
So we needed time, and
Mhm.
they also need time. But what we can do is to 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 teach, to talk about the things, to talk about the menstruation, to talk about it, what is with the body, and what the body changes, yeah, what other hormones doing in the puberty, and so on,
Right.
and and do it in a form that we we have respect for it, and this is something wonderful what happened there.
Mhm. Mhm.
So womanhood is something wonderful.
Right. That's the key. That's the key, is to be a role model and embrace the
Yes.
feminine goddess that we are, so that, like you say, it filters down, right? From
Mhm.
being in the environment, and then and when they're ready, they it's the old, when you're ready, the teacher appears, even if it's your mom.
Yes, that's true.
Exactly, exactly. Wow. Well, it's really fascinating, and it's so there's so much to discuss around this, because it's so important. I mean, it really it's key to me. It's key to being a woman. I love being a woman, and I love being, a goddess. And I
Yeah.
love being a mom, and I love being a nana, and it's my absolute bigger part of life is to assist the younger women, with this, my daughter as well as my granddaughter. But it's the wonderful work, and wonderful work that you do, and the knowledge and the wisdom that you bring to other women through all that you've been through, as well as all you've trained in and your passion. So I know there will be more questions coming up with regards to other, because one thing leads to another, right? And that's how we've kept going with this series. So when in fact there are more questions, I will be in touch to see if you will come back again, and we can do another podcast, because it's kind of endless, really. There's so much to explore and discover. So if
Yeah.
you're open to doing another one, I would love to have you back.
I'm always open because this is my topics.
Yeah, absolutely. 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 And
Yeah,
and it's
my vision is to go to the school and, yeah, and teach like, life lessons, yeah?
mhm, mhm, exactly. Do they do that in Germany?
No,
No.
no, not at
No.
all.
They used to in Canada somewhat, but now it's really, really changed. And so, the curriculums have changed with regards to, in the education process. But
Mhm.
who knows? There's always a possible way of creating something that we could take across the country.
Yeah.
So I never, I always am open, and I love, I went for a walk this morning, and I hugged the trees and talked to the birds and the bees, and, just grounded myself with, my feet on Mother Earth. And, I just was so grateful that at my age I have the health I do, and the inspiration, and that I have my creativity. you know And part of that is because I've worked with you and also trained with you, so I know how to bring the juiciness out. So,
Wonderful.
yeah, absolutely. And wearing red panties always helps.
Mm.
So, yeah, so we will get together again, my dear. And I just want to say so much love, so much gratitude, and I'm just so grateful to you. I love you so much. So, thank you for being with
Mhm.
us today. Have
Thank
a
you, Colli.
have a great weekend.
Yes, you too.
Okay. All right, my dear. Lots of love. And this will be out on Sunday. And I will send you the link, and people can get in touch with you.
Wonderful.
All right, my dear. Thank you. Bye bye.